Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Today, I speak about the farmers' protest. This is my second episode that I will be talking about farmers' protest. The reason I talk about farmers' protest today is because in the last couple of days, I've been reading a lot of tweets, lot of messages in social media, especially in social media, which are absolutely unfounded, rude even. It makes us wonder whether are we human beings or have we changed, have we metamorphosized to something else? It makes us wonder. And it also so blatantly shows our ignorance about the agricultural industry and a farmer, a life of a farmer. I will read out a couple of tweets to you before I get into my actual editorial, and then we will talk about farmers. So before I get into my show, let me take you through one or two tweets and then we will get into the show. I will not name the person. I have covered the name of the person. I don't intend to humiliate anybody. But one of the tweet read, I don't think water cannons should be used against Punjab farmers. Water is precious and it's winters too. Tear gas is a better option. Having burnt stubble, they should be fine with smoke. In international law, somebody else said, blockades are act of war. Now I completely support crushing these parasites, that is farmers, I presume, with brute force. They just crossed the line of legality. I will start sympathizing with the farming community when they are also imposed with income tax. Till then, call me names, but I have no sympathy with farming community. The same gentleman writes, service sector, not farmers, are the backbone. And the middle class led IT sector are the spine, backbone, lever of India's exports. Truth is bitter. These are the kind of comments that you see in social media. Let's talk about these comments. Before I get into the show, let me just tell you why I usually talk about agriculture and farmers. A good part of my life I have spent on working with farmers and trying to improve the profitability of farmers in India. I have visited thousands of villages and I have met lakhs of farmers in my 1 decade of this venture. And I continue to do so when I get time. That is precisely what gives me the insight based on which I am doing this editorial. Now, let's get right into the show. Before I start my editorial, let me put some of these tweets into perspective. Let me answer some of these tweets. I will start from the last. I will start sympathizing with the farming community when they are also imposed with income tax, says this gentleman. Now, what I would like to tell this gentleman is that like him, like you, like me, a farmer pays taxes. Like all Indians, farmers pay taxes. Unlike the 1.96% population of India, farmers do not pay direct taxes. Only 1.96% of Indians pay direct taxes. Farmers do not pay direct taxes. But farmers pay tax for everything that he buys, for the fertilizers that he buys, for the germicides that he buys, for the seeds that he buys, for the pin that he buys, for the dress that he buys, for the tractor that he buys, for the petrol that he buys, for the diesel that he buys, everything he pays taxes like you and me. So this gentleman is wrong when he says that a farmer doesn't pay tax. The second tweet is where he says that service sector, not farmers, are India's backbone. The middle class led IT sector are the spine, backbone, lever of India's export. Truth is bitter, he says. I am sorry. He has to know truth is bitter. Agricultural industry of India contributes to 15% of India's GDP. Let him know that. And more importantly, agricultural industry of India contributes to 53% of jobs in India. So all this IT industry and service sector and all will not survive if there is no agricultural industry that takes care of your jobs, your youth and the country. It is the foundation of our country. 53% of the people work there. So that's point 2. Point 3 is, the third tweet that I want to answer is, in international law, blockades are an act of war. Now I completely support crushing these parasites with brute force. They just cross the line of legality. For every person who crosses the line of legality, if this man starts saying that, then possibly not a single politician in this country will survive. Because if anybody who crosses the line of legality is dealt brutally, then you can imagine how many politicians will be there. The fourth tweet, I don't even want to talk about it. The reason I wanted to do this editorial and my second episode on this particular subject is because one needs to understand why farmers are doing what they are doing. You see, the whole picture that has been created that, it is Khalistan people who are into this protest, or it is Congress who is supporting this protest, or it is communist who is supporting this protest, is not entirely correct. You see, there is a problem. One needs to identify that problem and one needs to address that problem. And the problem is basically dual. Two major problems. Problem number 1 is a farmer is used to a certain price that he gets for his crops. And that price is called as MSP, minimum support price. In the bill, there is no mention of minimum support price, though the Prime Minister has been saying that, he will work it out and they will possibly get more than the minimum support price. But end of the day, look at it from a farmer's perspective. From a farmer's perspective, the scene is such that he himself is not earning huge profits. Year on year, his profitability is going down. And the fact is, he doesn't know how good the next year is going to be in terms of climate and his produce. His life is already quite unpredictable. And here you are with a law that has also removed the minimum support price from the bill. Now the chances are the intentions of the government may be good, or the intentions of the government may not be. But how will a farmer get convinced of that? Isn't it the job of the government to go and convince the farmer? And if the farmer is not convinced, sit with him, cajole him and explain to him as to why this is good for him. Because end of the day, look at it from a farmer's perspective. End of the day, look at it from a farmer's perspective. It is his life, his family's 2 square meal that is at line. The second point that he is concerned about is, please understand, in our country, a farmer is not a businessman. A farmer is a farmer. While technically speaking, the job description of a farmer and a businessman is almost the same. An industrialist and a farmer, almost the same job description. An industrialist buys raw material, farmers buy raw material. Industrialist uses that raw material, produce his final product. Farmer uses the raw material, produces his final product. Industrialist packages it, farmer harvests it. Industrialists sell it, so does the farmer. So technically speaking, job profile is ditto, but a farmer is never seen as a businessman. We have never seen a farmer and a businessman with the same eye, because a businessman does business, a farmer does his duty. That's the way we have seen our farmers. He is committed to his Dharti Mata, he is committed to his land, he is committed to his people, he is committed to his food, he is committed to his crops, he is committed to the society. And he takes his commitment that way. So you can't see both the industries with the same lens. You have to see them differently. Now imagine when you talk about a farmer, the farmer's life is almost contained in and around his vicinity. Every person the farmer deals with is a person that the farmer is known to. He only deals with familiar face. Even when he goes to the cooperative market to sell his product, he knows a lot of people there, and a lot of people knows him too. He is not comfortable from going from Nagpur to Chandigarh and selling his product, or from Chandigarh coming to Nagpur to sell his product. He is not comfortable. Reason being, he is very, very restrained. He is very, very comfortable selling in his own comfort zone, which is nearby, which are faces familiar to him. This is what a farmer is. Now what we need to understand is, all of a sudden when this farmer is told, okay, from tomorrow onwards you are going to deal with Adani, or you are going to deal with Ambani, or you are going to deal with Tata. All of a sudden when a farmer is told, he is overwhelmed more than anything else. He is overwhelmed. Such big name, no face to the name, and the fact that he has to deal with them, the first thing he starts believing is, what if they con me? What if they cheat me? What if they don't give me the right price? What if they crush me? What if they take away my land? It is obvious, these thoughts coming to your mind is obvious, because it's like a small person looking at this giant thing called the corporate. It is not easy for him to just accept it as a kal se hum Reliance se sath deal karenge. It is not that easy for him to accept, and that is something that we need to be clear about, and that is why he is protesting. And that is why somebody needs to, again, like I told you, sit with him, cajole him, and give him that confidence to ensure that he goes and deals with them. That's what is required. Point number 3. You see that Khalistanis are promoting this, or Congress is promoting this, or a communist is promoting this. Please understand, there are 500 farmer groups, farmer unions participating in this protest. There are close to 2 lakh farmers, not only from Punjab, but also from Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, and now some going from Karnataka and other states. Do you think so many people will participate because of Congress told them so? Do you think Congress has that clout? And if Congress had that clout, do you think this would have been their state in the elections? But I am not for a minute denying the fact that there could be some elements from Khalistan who are there. There could be some element from Congress who are trying to promote this, or there could be some elements from communists. What I am not trying to deny that. That could have happened, that will happen, and that normally happens when there is an agitation. Everybody wants to be that 2-minute hero. I saw an interview yesterday conducted by Barkha Dutt. First of all, she interviewed a singing star, some superstar I presume, in his SUV van, who was sitting in his air-conditioned SUV van and talking about farmers' problem. And he went and spoke about Bhindranwale, and he had his own views about Bhindranwale. I don't know whether he understands this, from his elbow. But he had his views. He had his views and he was giving his views. Now the problem is, interviewing those kind of people is good, but do they represent those farmers? You see, what happens is, and the saddest part is, by kind of projecting these kind of people, you are undermining the movement. Because the movement is not about these kind of people who have come there for their few minutes of fame, to possibly get their careers back on track. That is not what it is, nor it is for those politicians who wants to show their face and be associated with farmers. It is not for them. The point, the people we need to think about are those real guys who are there with a sheer fright that, bhai, kya hamara kal ka rozi roti mein effect hoga? Those are the guys our heart should go in for. Those are the guys our heart should be with. And those are the guys that I represent today and I am talking to you today. Real, genuine farmers who are scared. And because of all the shenanigans, those guys should not be forgotten. And my last point before I end my editorial. You see, before any changes in any sector is implemented, normally the government calls the stakeholders of those sectors and has a discussion. There is a threadbare discussion that takes place between the stakeholders and the government. There is some give and some take that happens in terms of not give and take that way, but give and take in terms of negotiations, in terms of understanding their problems and the government telling their plans to them. And finally, a robust plan is implemented for that particular sector. This is what happens normally and almost always. Be it finance sector, be it hospitality sector, be it IT sector, be it any sector that stakeholders are called. Pray tell me, why did the farmers have to go and do such a kind of protest to just get the ear of the government? Please tell me. Why were the farmers not called and why were their stakeholders not called and discussed? Just because we take them for granted? Just because we feel that ठीक है यार, farmers है, क्या करेगा? And just because possibly the city dwellers write things like this because they don't even understand what farming is. So this is the point I wanted to raise. I had to go through my credentials and all of that because I wanted to convince you that what is happening is real. Don't just push it as a political gimmick or don't just term them as enemies and just brush their problem under the carpet like we normally do. Please don't do it. Till we meet next time. Namaskar.